Hello, friends, welcome. So it's a day after the fair, it's December 3rd, and I had my first holiday fair yesterday. And so I have a few things I want to talk about, pretty much go over, everything, how it went, my feelings about it. Was it successful? Was it not successful? And yeah, a little story about my experience overall. Also, stay tuned to the end because I'm also going to be sharing some photos and videos of, what I did capture. I didn't get to take too much pictures, unfortunately, but I will share some of what I did take. In this video, I'm just going to be creating some cards as well while I tell you a little bit about the fair. And I got this set from Michael's, and it has like these little cards. It makes 6 cards, and there's 30 pieces in here. It pretty much comes with everything you need. And I think these are great to buy with and make with children too around the holidays. So if you can get yourself one, that'll be great. And you can get them at Michael's as well. They pretty much have everything you would need in the box to use for the project. So okay, now that we got all that out the way, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, I'm not going to really be talking too much about me making these. They're really cute cards. I'm going to also be adding these to my traveler's journals with a little note, whoever buys it. So it's like a note of the maker and what have you. So I was just making these, and I think they will be a cute addition for this upcoming event that I have this week. And it's going to be on a military base. So I'm also switching a couple things up there as well. And then from what I experienced. So yeah, so anywho, stay tuned for that. And if you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and like the video and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this or hear more about my craft fair experience and so on. Okay, so let's get into it. Yesterday, okay, let's talk about the night before. So the night before the event, I didn't get any sleep. Okay, I stood up pretty much till 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, 1 o'clock. It's like 1:30 when I finished prepping most of the stuff. And I didn't prep everything that I wanted to because I had a few more things that I was going to do afterwards. But it just got so late and I really needed to get some sleep. And so I was kind of doing quantity checks on everything, like on the pens that I made. And I did make some beaded pens, and I just wanted to make sure that everything was put right and like the glue was good and like no pens were going to be breaking. So I was doing a lot of that, like a lot of different things, just checking, making sure that everything was going to be good. And my husband also helped me, so he stood up just as late as I did. And then after I was done with everything, it was about 1:30 in the morning. I ended up taking a shower and finally got in bed around 2 o'clock in the morning. And as I was sleeping, I just remember, well, not as I was sleeping, as I was about to go to sleep, I remembered that I didn't even do any inventory. Like I was supposed to count everything, and I didn't do any inventory. I didn't count anything that I had. And aside from what I wrote, like I made a list down of all the things that I was taking with me, but I didn't write like how many of each item that I had. And I was supposed to use my Square app and do that. And so like while I was in bed, I was literally typing in all my items into Square, like, in the inventory. And I fell asleep with the phone in my hand. Like I could not keep my eyes open at all. And so the next morning, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I literally slept for 2 hours, got up, totally forgot about the inventory situation because I was like, oh my God, okay, I gotta get up, gotta get dressed. So I did my hair, fed Coco, fed Coco, which is my cockatoo. And I forgot what else I did. A couple other things. And I was doing the Meet the Seller sheet that I wanted to have out as well. So I was editing that, and then the kids got up. It was already about 7 o'clock, and I literally wanted to leave the house around 7. So I was already behind schedule. I also had some stomach pains, and so I took like 2 Advils. And yeah, the weather outside was just like cold and foggy, and I don't know, it was just like getting off on a bad track, like I was so behind. Nothing happened as planned, of course. And so We finally get there, and I was worried. I didn't even get to get breakfast. I wanted to go like Starbucks or somewhere and pick something up real quick for the kids, and we didn't even get to do that. We had to go straight there because we were running so behind. And when I got there, I literally had so much stuff to get out and put on the tables, right? Like so much prep. And I did not schedule any of that. Like I originally wanted to be there by 8 o'clock. That was when they opened the doors to set up. So 8 to 8:45. And I thought I would have enough time, but we left the house around 7:45. I think it was 7:45, and it took about 30 minutes to get there. So we were like so tight on time. And I live on a military base, so on the weekends, some of the gates are closed, so I had to go all the way around. So it just took a lot longer for us to get out of the base onto the highway. So, okay, besides all that, we finally get there, we start prepping, and I literally just finished prepping everything before people started coming in. I was still kind of changing up the signs for like the prices and whatnot. Okay, so then I had my first sale, and my first sale was pretty quick actually. It was within like 5 to 10 minutes of them opening. And she was actually a librarian, she said, and she loved the little golden books that I had made. You can see the previous video. See if I can go ahead and link it here. It's the little ornaments that I had made, and she bought 2 of them. And yeah, she was pretty much in love with those. So that was my first sale. And then shortly after, well, I think around the same time that she was there, this other woman came up to my table, and she's talking to me, and she's, asking me prices. I had everything priced there, but like people didn't know like kind of to turn the sign, and the price was in back. So like in the front, I think I showed it in my last video, in the front I had it like labeled, and then the back the price was there, similar to like when you go shopping in the store, you have the prices on the back of the tag. So that's what I was thinking. But yeah, so she was asking prices and just a lot of questions, and I was answering her questions. And she asked about this one journal, and she asked me the price, and I told her it was $45. And I guess for her, she felt it was too high, so she put it back. And she ended up buying like a cheaper journal from me. I think it was like $8 or $8.50, something like that, like a plain one. And then so she purchased that, and then she left. And then a little bit of time had passed. She came back again, and she was like looking again, like she really wanted to buy one of my journals or something. And she was just doing like small talk, and we were talking for a while. And then I don't know, something in me, like it just felt like odd, like she was acting a little weird. And I realized that I didn't see the journal that she asked me the price for originally, so it was $45. I didn't see that journal anywhere, and so I started looking for it, and I couldn't find it. And that was when I realized that I think she had took it. Like, and my mind literally was in scrambles. Like I couldn't even remember what I was selling, and I was doing such a bad job with like logging anything down, like when someone came and like purchased something. And I think I was just so on edge. My stomach was hurt. Like I didn't have any sleep the whole week. I mean, it just was really bad. So I really couldn't remember anything. My memory is already like horrible to begin with, which is why I really like journals and journaling, like for memory keeping purposes. So my mind was just everywhere, and I couldn't even remember. Like I was thinking like, wait, did I put it down somewhere? Or did she take it? And I would hate to accuse anyone of taking something if I wasn't sure, especially if but no one else had picked that book up. That was literally the last time I seen it, was when she had it in her hand. And she was just acting really odd. And the thing is, she came to my table like 4 other times after that. So she was the only one that was doing that. And in between, I had other people come, sales and whatnot. The kids, my husband and the kids actually went to go see Santa. So when this was all happening, they were off taking pictures with Santa and like going to the back. They also had like this whole little event for like the kids to shop at. So that also kind of, like affected the sales of like everyone else, because they had like a separate thing inside the school that kids were also shopping at there. And then they also, I think, I mentioned before that they were doing like letters with Santa there. And they also had Santa Claus and what have you. So like a whole nother event going on in a special area. So the kids went off to go do that. And then I was dealing with this whole theft situation. So I ended up telling my neighbor who was next to me. And I was like, I think that woman that we were just talking to, because like she came to my table again and was just doing small talk. I think she probably was trying to like steal, or I don't know what she was doing, but at this point I was keeping an eye on her, because I'm like, okay, she's here again. I already have a feeling that she took the journal, and I don't think at that point my neighbor knew, because she was like, we were all talking and she was showing her something that she had purchased herself. And so right after she left, I had told my neighbor, I'm like, I think that woman had stole from me a book, and she offered to actually tell one of the workers, one of the coordinators that were there, for me, because I was just like so on edge. I didn't even know what to do. Like this is my first event, so I didn't even know like how to handle it. And she was like, do you want me to tell someone that this happened to you? And I was like, can you please? Like that would be great, because I wasn't thinking straight. I haven't slept. Like I didn't really know what to do or how to deal with it. So she went and told one of the coordinators, and then they had came to me. They asked me what happened. I explained to them that, she was the last person I seen with the journal. She asked me the price. She showed, she was interested, but she didn't buy it, and I haven't seen the book. I literally looked through all my boxes, all my bins, everything to, check if maybe we had put it inside one of the bins or something like that. Because it really was all like a blur, everything was just happening so quickly. So I really couldn't remember. And so she asked me how much was the book, and I told her how much, and she was like, oh my goodness, okay. And so the lady that stole the book was saying that she came to my table again, and was doing small talk with me again, and just like, I don't know, it was just like at that point I was already frustrated. I had told the event coordinator about her. I was already upset. Like she just kept coming by my desk and talking, and I was just like a little annoyed. I didn't want to confront her personally myself or say anything. I told her that I was missing the book, and she was like, oh, well, I hope you find it. I was like, yeah, I'm missing a book, it looked like this. And she's like, oh my goodness, really? And she's like, I hope you find it. And I was like, okay, thanks. So I was hoping that maybe she would say something. Well, she already kind of at that point knew that I knew she had the book, right? Because I mentioned it to her. So anyway, she said she was leaving, but she never left, and she ended up going around again. So at this point, I think people were watching her because they knew like she had already stole from me. So like, I hope she didn't steal from anyone else, but I had a feeling she was making her rounds and like buying little purchases, like making little purchases and stealing while the person was either getting the money or doing something like that. And she was putting it in her bags. Like she had several big bags with her. And then she also was with her son. So okay, so she went around a couple times. This time before she left, right, they had her at the door and they asked her to remove everything from the bags. I don't know how the conversation went. I'm assuming that they just asked her, if she can please, remove the contents or whatever, that I was missing a journal. I'm not sure how that all went down, but they found the journal. She had it in her bag. So that was amazing. I was already like taking the L, I was gonna take it as a loss and just be like, okay, I was like so sad about it because I put so much work. I mean, anyone who makes journals and handmade items knows how much work you put into it, how much love, and it's like more of a personal thing, especially with my journals. I feel like it's so personal to me, and I was really sad when I found out that it was gone, and it was gone in that way. So anywho, she came back and she was like, is this the book? And I was like, oh my goodness, yes. I was so happy. It was like, and I was like, yes, that's the book. And she was like, okay, here's your book or whatever. And it was missing a piece to it, but it was fine. Like, I really didn't care about that because I was just like, oh my goodness, like, I can't even believe that I got the book back. I can't believe they actually confronted her and asked to look through her bags. I was really relieved, but I was shocked, because this had never happened to me before. And honestly, going in, like, I didn't even contemplate theft. Like, I didn't even think, like, this wasn't even a thought in my mind that this would happen, like, or that I wasn't even keeping an eye out for theft or like thinking of anything like that. I was just so excited about the event and getting everything ready all this time, and what to expect. I didn't know, and I was just it was so full with so many different things going through my mind, wanting to make everything perfect on my end, and just everything going in shambles, right? Like, nothing worked as I expected or wanted it to go. And so this, like I said, was the least thing I was expecting, was to get a book taken or stolen from me. And honestly, the fact that I didn't get to do inventory and I didn't get to jot down how much of everything I had, I don't know if she took anything else from me. She was looking at several other books, like some of the traveler journals I had. She really wanted one of those, and I don't know if she took another one. I honestly can't even recall how many of those I sold. I think I sold about 2 traveler's journals, and all I know is how much I made. Like, that's the only thing I can tell you, is how much I made. But I'm going to keep that for another video on, like, what were my best sellers, how much I made, and all that. So stay tuned for that if you want to hear that story about, like, how, if you want to hear more details about, like, how much and numbers and all that other stuff. That will be for another video. But I did want to come on here now and kind of explain to you a little bit about that situation that I dealt with and how I went about it. And hopefully this doesn't happen to you. Let me know if you've ever dealt with something like this before. This was my first time ever doing an event like this. It was at a school, and there was a lot of family and kids, of course, there. And I wasn't even thinking, like, it was not a child that took the book, by the way. It was an adult. It was a mother. And so, yeah, that just, and again, I wasn't looking for this. I wasn't, like, stalking everyone that was at my booth and, like, keep an eye. And even after, that happened and after she left, I still wasn't. I was just, like, sad that even happened, and, like, how or why would she do something like that? It was really sad. But, yeah, I just, at that point, I think, like, I just had the wind blown out of me. Like, I was just telling, like, when my husband got back and I let him know everything that just happened, and he, like, they all literally missed all that, because that's how long they were over on the other side with Santa and all that stuff. So good thing the kids wasn't there for that, so they didn't have to see me going crazy, like, in this whole thing going down. But it's funny how God works, like, it's just, like, they were over there and I was already dealing with that on my own. So that's good. I'm happy that happened that way. But yeah, so another thing I wanted to talk about was, I am, like, honestly an introvert, and I'm not very social. But when I have to be in an event, or when I'm at work or anything like that, like, I'm a very talkative person in that sense. And yeah, I'm very, like, I'm social in that way, right? Like, it's personally, privately, like, in my own life, I'm not very social. I don't have that many friends. But when I'm at an event, then I am. And I think most of my sales I made was because I was very, very engaged and talking to everyone that showed interest or passed, in a sense. And I think if you're sitting down the whole time and you're not engaging with people, then you're gonna make less sales. And the whole time, I literally was standing the whole 4 hours. I did not sit not one time until the very end of the show. That's when I finally sat down, when we were packing and putting things away, and my husband was putting the things in the car. Like, I just sat and waited for him. But before that, I stood up the whole time. I was standing, and yeah, I didn't sit. I was engaging with every customer, every person that came in. And if you want to be successful, I think that is a very big thing. You can't just be sitting down. Like, I don't think if I would have left like to the bathroom, or if I would have took the kids and my husband would have stood back, I would have probably not made any of those sales, right? So like, I honestly think that 99% of my sales were made only because I engaged with the people there. A lot of them would have not purchased from me if I wasn't engaging, I don't believe, because a lot of them were just passing by, just walking, and if you don't say anything, they'll just pass you. Some things that people would sell are like drawing to kids, right? Like, there was this one person there, I think, selling those little plush. My neighbor actually sold plush too, really cute little plush, and across from her there was a crochet crush plushy ones, right? So those type of things would draw kids in, right? But my stuff, I mean, people were giving me compliments like on the setup, like, oh, this is all so cute, like things are cute, but it really wouldn't draw people in unless you're talking to them, because a lot of the people that were there were from the school, right? They were there to support the bake sale that was also going on there. So like, they were there to support their local community crafters, and then the bake sale that was happening. I know one parent passed by and she was like, oh, come on, let's go, we're going to the bake sale, so that was a little further in. So I was kind of like the third person from the door on the right side. So when they walk in, they would pass me to get to the bake sale. But yeah, so that kind of gives you an idea of like the situation and how things were set up. But I honestly feel like if I would have just sat down and not said anything, not engaged, I think I would have not made as many sales as I did. I probably would have made like, I think I want to say naturally, how many people naturally came up to my desk. Oh, not my desk, my tables were maybe about 4 to 5. And then the rest of those people I was like bringing in, like drawing in, like starting conversation. And that's how they ended up making a purchase from me. So I just say that to say, like, even if you're an introvert and you're someone that doesn't like to talk, or is not very social in your personal life, when you go to these type of events, it's very important that this is the time that you are, because if you want to make sales and you want to have your business grow, you need to be able to talk to people, and you need to be able to engage with people and show them how excited you are about your products and your items, and explain a little bit to them about it, right? So I also had, like I said, that meet the seller type thing up, but it was kind of in, I don't think people really took the time to read it. So it was really important to me to like kind of engage and talk to people and explain to them like kind of about journals and what my passion was about it, and why I love journals so much, and what it meant to me. And also with a lot of the other products, I kind of just explained a little bit about everything, and I think that's what kind of drew them in to make that sale. So I really just wanted to share that with you all. And I hope that this share right now, that me telling you how it went, the goods, the bad, right, the theft and all that, like some type of, you get something from this, right? That maybe you dealt with something like this, I don't know, but hopefully you gain something from this. And yeah, I hope that my experience helps someone else. In some sense. I think for me, what I would have done differently, obviously, I needed the main thing for my next event that's coming up next week. I want to make sure that my inventory is completed. I'm going to have everything on the Square app, so I'm going to go ahead and work on that. Like today, I'm going to start getting all that done. Inventory is a big thing. You need to know how much you have, and how much you would have made versus how much you made, or how much you could potentially make if you sell out of everything, right? Excuse me, that's your inventory. And then yeah, in case of a theft, right, like you need to know, like, okay, wait, I only sold X amount and X amount is missing, so that means that someone took it, I guess, right? So in that case, I mean, I wanted the inventory not about theft, but now I'm seeing that like that's really important for that as well. Like people could potentially take something for your table. Now next week I'm gonna be here on the military base, and I would think that people here have more integrity. I mean, I wouldn't put it past anyone. But I just never really dealt with that on a military base. I think people here, those things just are less likely to happen. Not saying that it wouldn't happen, but I just feel a little more safe with that and more comfortable because it is on a military base and these are like my neighbors potentially, that are coming to visit. So it just feels a little more, I guess I won't be on edge, right? Knowing that I already have been through that, but I still want to have my inventory just so that I know and I can look at, okay, like how much I sold, how much I have left and such like that. So inventory is a really big thing, and I think you need to make sure that you have all that down on a list somewhere, either in your Square app or a spreadsheet, written down in a book, wherever you like to do that. That's very important. So I want to get that, and having everything written down, remembering to have a log there. I think if I had a nice spreadsheet and it was just easy for me to like check off, what was being sold right then. So just having that there, and taking your time with each sale. Like I think I was just going so quickly, everything was rushing so fast, and I didn't like take the time to just slow down and actually write things down as soon as that person is there. Write it down, like, okay, take your time with each person, with each sale, and inventory what is selling at that moment. Also, I didn't get to take pictures of like everything that I had out. That was another thing. So like when I got there, like I said, I was already behind schedule and I was already rushing. So it wasn't the first thing that came to mind to go ahead and take pictures. So that wasn't a thing, right? I am going to show you some video footage here shortly of like how everything looked, my setup a little bit. I did learn some things, like I do want to change the prices on some things for my next event. And yeah, just having a better way of tracking everything and taking more photos of everything. I was supposed to do that with the Square and have everything in the system. So that's really important. I think moving forward, that's what I'm going to focus on. And yeah, I made so much. I still have so much inventory. I still have so much stuff. And so I did make a good amount, I guess. I mean, for my first one, and considering everything, I think it was okay. I mean, I'm happy with it. Would I have liked to make more? Of course, but I think it overall was successful in that sense. My husband said, yeah, it was good. And so, yeah, everyone had a good time. I think the kids enjoyed. They also made a purchase as well. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I put a picture in there of the things that they got as well. Really cute. And yeah, I just think that overall it was good. Although I had, my ups and downs with the theft and that whole roller coaster they're going. Everyone is really nice. My neighbor was such a sweetheart, and the people around me that I got to interact with. I didn't really get to go around all the other tables, unfortunately. I did want to, but I felt like I said, if I left my area, I would have not made as much sales. Like if I would have left my husband there and just said like, okay, watch it for me while I go like look around or go shopping or something, like I would have not made as much sales. Like I feel like I literally had to be there engaging with every customer. That's just me. I mean, other people may be more laid back. Your demeanor may be a lot different, which I did notice there were people that were a lot different, obviously, from me. Like there were people just sitting there and just more calm. Like I'm sure they've done this so many times. Like being that it was my first time, I was like really what is that called? I don't know, like ippity uppity. I don't know. It was just like really, even though I wasn't feeling my best, right? Like I wasn't 100%. I wasn't feeling good that morning. I didn't sleep well, but I didn't let that affect me when I got there. Like I still was really engaging. I was talking to everyone. I was still trying to mask everything that was happening. So I think I did well with that. But yeah, I think it just is different for everyone. The things that you're going to sell also is going to be different. Things that were good sellers for me or, might be good for this time. It also just really depends. I know I mentioned in my last video about I wasn't sure if I was going to bring the letters to Santa because they already were kind of doing that there, but they were doing something different. I think they were writing the letters actually there. And I think they might have took them home, or I don't know if they gave them to the Santa there. I don't know. I think it was just something completely different. Like I did see somebody walking around with like a little envelope, I think, because when I asked, I was like asking people like, oh, did you guys write Santa yet? Have you written a letter to Santa? And some people were like, oh yeah, we just did that, and then other people was like, oh no, we've never done anything like that. So, engaging in that way and finding out. And so I think some of them were thinking like I was talking about that, like if they did that event in the back. So somebody was like, oh yeah, we already just did that. But I was trying to ask about, if they actually mailed one out to Santa because of what I was, the Santa packs that I made, the Dear Santa packs. But anywho, so it really just depends on, like a lot of different factors, the audience, I guess, the people that are there, customer base, the events, other sellers. What are they selling? Are they selling something similar to you? Are they selling different things? I don't think I've seen anyone with a similar setup to me or selling the same things. So I guess that was good. I don't think anyone there, I think everybody there was pretty unique. I don't think anyone was selling the same things. I'm really not sure because unfortunately, like I said, I didn't get to go look around at everyone's table or setup. Just because I was just so focused on like really wanting it to go well. My first one, I just really wanted it to go well, and I wanted to be there every second. Like I literally didn't take a break to use the bathroom. I didn't sit down not once, like I just was engaging the whole time. And I think that really helped my sales. So I hope this information helps somebody else. Yeah, and these little cards, like I said, that I made in this video, you can see they came out so cute. And I'm gonna pretty much put like a little note in there, and that's gonna be added to my little journals, my traveler journals. And yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do with these. They are so cute. And yeah, I hope that this video you gain something out of it. And like I said, stay tuned for all of the photos and video footage of the event. And I will see you soon in another video. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna give more information and talk more about my upcoming events and the upcoming craft fair that I have coming up on the base as well. So I'll let you know more. And then I'll also compare kind of the two as well and let you know how that went. Thanks again for your support and love, and I will see you in another video. Bye.